everyone, I'm Gertie from Blog for Better Sewing, and as promised I'm here with a tutorial on how to draft your own Peter Pan collar for a blouse. Like this one, which I'll show you a picture of because I know it's kind of hard to see with this pattern, but it's just a simple little Peter Pan collar for a blouse, and the pattern that I used was the Colette pattern Sencha blouse, which version 1 has just a really simple jewel neckline, which is a high neckline, a round neckline that sits right around the neck. So it's perfect for embellishing and making a simple little collar like this one for. So let's get started. I'll show you what you need first. Besides your basic sewing supplies, you're going to need a couple things for pattern drafting. First, start with a clear gridded ruler. This is 2 inches by 18 inches. And I think in every tutorial I've done, I've shown you this because I use it for everything. So if you don't have one, get one. The other thing that you probably don't have around unless you've done some drafting before is a French curve. And what a French curve does is it's this clear curve, plastic curve that helps you draw in lines on your pattern, curved lines rather than straight lines. Also, some colored pencils come in handy in a couple different colors. And you'll need some sort of tracing paper. I use this, it's called Swedish tracing paper, and I order mine online. It's sheer. It feels more like cloth than like paper. You can actually sew through it. I really like it, but you can also just use any tracing paper that you get at, the art supply store or whatever. And this is just going to be really small pattern pieces, so you don't have to worry about having a huge piece of paper. And so to get started, what you'll need is, with the pattern, is your pattern bodice front, which is this piece right here, and then the bodice back, this piece right here. And to prep them, what you're going to want to do is draw in red or another bright color that you can see, the seam allowances around the shoulder and around the neckline, and that's going to help us just get started. So that's all you have to do before we go on to this next step, is just draw in those seam allowances. And so just a little bit more about what we're going to be doing. We're going to need to draft 2 pattern pieces, and they're going to look like this here. This is the upper collar. It looks kind of like a crescent, half moon shape. And then you have another piece for your under collar. And so this would be the upper collar, and under collar is the one that's sewn underneath. And the reason they're different is because the under collar is always just a little bit smaller than the upper collar, and that's because you want your under collar to roll under just a little bit so that the seam line is under the collar, not laying on the top or on the side. And it just helps it roll under there, and you can press it right so that you're not looking at an ugly seam line, you're looking at a nice curved collar. So that's all there really is to it, and that's all you need to do to prep, is to just draw in those lines, and I'll show you a picture because I know it's hard to see close-ups on this camera that I use. So I'll show you some slides along the way. And if you're curious, the way I learned this method is partly from reading this book, Design Your Own Dress Patterns by Adele P. Margolis. Mine is like a 70s edition, but it's updated for today, so I'll give you a link to that. And also partly from a drafting course I took at FIT. So it's kind of a mishmash of 2 methods. And obviously I found that it worked because it made this nice little collar. And let me show you what the back looks like. And one thing you'll see is that we don't want the back collar to go straight to the center back, because we have this overlap here where the buttons are. So I ended my collar right at the beginning of the buttonhole extension, and I'll show you in more detail when we get to this. So that's all you have to do to prep now, is just draw in those seam allowances on your front and back bodice pieces, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, thanks.